enough, excellent to navigating the overcoming uniqueness of growth and healing. You are enough. There is power in you. You are enough. Are you ready to use the power that's inside of you? You are enough. Today you know you was always enough. Yes. We had a moment when we didn't have the confidence to be as bold and secure that we are now. You are enough. Yes, we had moments when we settled for that relationship that we weren't supposed to be in because it was toxic or not. Hello. Thank you for tuning in to the Power in Your Voice. This is your girl, Dr. Sheena Goodine, better known as the lady behind the mask. And today we have my extraordinary sister in the building, and I always pronounce her name wrong. So I'm going to let her pronounce her name so we all can get it correct. Can you please introduce yourself and tell the people where you're tuning in from?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Phylicia Renaye, and I am tuning in, hailing straight from Kentucky. Yes, I am
Amazing.
born and raised. I'm a thoroughbred. Okay.
Amazing. Can you tell the people what you do?
Yes, absolutely. So I am a therapist. I'm a biblical cognitive behavioral therapist. To be exact, I am a life coach. I am a minister of deliverance and, just an all around encourager. God has just called me to help a group of people because 8 years ago, I went through a divorce. And so God called me to those people. I had no idea what I was in for. But, when God calls you to something, you just got to surrender and you got to say yes because, baby, it's going to keep coming. It's not going anywhere. So, yes, dating after divorce coach and your number one encourager. I love to encourage whoever, whenever, wherever. And I just love to give, others an opportunity to have their voice to be heard. I have a radio show on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. And for all of my people out there that are riding with me on Off the Cuff Radio, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are at 2 years. So, yep, just a little bit about me. And I'm an author. So I think I was at 5 last year, this year, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I'm going to be at 10, you know. So I just thank God. I praise God. He's been good.
Did you get the writing bug? A lot of times they say once you start writing, it just becomes toxicating. It just becomes a thing that you just continuously be doing.
I've always written. Like I'm a journaler. I was one of those. I was born in the '80s, so I was born and raised on those diaries with the little keys. So
Mm-hmm.
learning how to write my feelings and write about my days, and all of that came early for me. So I've just always wrote about. I don't care what it is, if it's a receipt, if I got something to write, if the Lord speaks to me and says something to me and I need something to write on, I'm a listen, look what I got. It's a piece of mail. It's words all over this mail. I don't want y'all to see what I wrote, but I, listen, yes. But I did get the bug. I think it was just like when God shows you what he can do if you will just be obedient. What God can show you just how far he can take your voice, your story, and your testimony if only you will be obedient. And so, listen, I'm a kid, I'm a kingdom kid, and I've been rebellious and I ain't done everything right, okay? Just like I said, I ain't. I'm country. So I'm not going to always do what is, the status quo, what everybody thinks that, should be done. But one thing about me is when God tells me to do something, I might not do it the first time, even in my disobedience and my rebellion, okay? But when God tells me to do something, eventually I buckle down and I do it. And I receive nothing but good fruits every time.
Do you feel you was running from your purpose for a while?
Oh my gosh. Um, I don't think I was running. I think for me, I was trying to feel it out. I was trying to feel it out and feel where, and see, that's my thing because, when you are, an empathetic person, when I don't want to call myself an empath, but when you're an empathetic person, you know what I'm saying? You feel, and sometimes, when you're young, you think that you're supposed to allow that to lead you and to guide you, and that's not the case. And so I think early on I was just kind of feeling my way around, as if I was kind of like blinded a little bit, and just trying to feel like, okay, God, where do you want me? I was a model, and so I'd had my son. And so I remember, the Lord gave me this idea of doing a fashion show. I just wanted to do something. I was in a Baptist church, and if you know about Southern Baptist, if you're a woman, you're not getting behind the pulpit. The most you're gonna do is get in the choir stand. You might, the announcements, or whatever, do something like that. Maybe you might have a
Ushering.
Bible study, usher. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about. So, I took this to my pastor at the time, and, I said, the Lord has, given me this idea to do a fashion show. And it was called Walk in Your Purpose. And, I just basically, when I was asking the models to model, I said, this is a show. It's called Walk in Your Purpose. And, um, do you want to walk in your purpose? So basically asking them to be in the show if they want to walk in their purpose. I got a local consignment shop. She was a believer to sponsor me. I got a t-shirt place. He was a believer, and he sponsored me with all of these t-shirts. My brother, created a logo, Walk in Your Purpose, with with Hebrews, oh my goodness. Ooh, no, no, no. Proverbs. It's Proverbs. A heart deferred maketh the heart sick. And so, it was just all of these things, like everything was coming into place. And so that was the first assignment that God gave me. And it came all the way together, and I did it afraid. Okay. I'd never done anything like that in my life. Okay. And so that's what I mean when I feel like I was kind of feeling my way, as far as, my purpose is concerned. And I also think that that was a building block. God used that to um to create who he who he has always wanted me to be, has always intended for me to be, putting me in a place to where um, not only did I follow through with what he told me to do, I was also like my father because I was creating.
Absolutely. So, a lot of times when we go through this journey, so you said you went through divorce. Do you feel part of your journey of becoming a divorce coach is because you went through divorce?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how God took my pain and turned it into purpose for me. 2017 is when the divorce papers came to my door. September, he told me to stand. I didn't sign for anything. By December 2017, I was divorced. um Everything happened so fast, and just like that, I felt like overnight I was a single mother all over again. you
How
know
heavy was that?
I'm sorry.
How heavy was that?
Oh, it was extremely heavy. it was extremely heavy, because listen, I can tell you, I am a girly who is being delivered from timelines. And if you have ever been grappled, or however you say the word, by timelines in your life, the spirit of perfectionism, then you definitely will, you gonna feel me. You're definitely gonna feel me here. Okay. I had these timelines in my life. The first timeline, when, before I started to go through my deliverance, right? It was to be married before I was 30 years old, and all of these things, somebody to be good with my son because he's autistic nonverbal. I had to be able to trust him. And so, I didn't have a lot of expectations. It was very slim. But, those two things were really important for me. Somebody that was good with my son because he's autistic and he was nonverbal. That was the number one thing, for me at that time. And it happened. Listen, we had all this snow the other day, and I made a little joke about Sheila, getting snowed in, and that's how
Mhm.
she found her man or whatever. Okay, this is what happened with me and my ex husband. We got snowed in together, and baby, we was married. Okay, we got married quick. We talked about it very quickly, and that's when it happened. And just as quick as we got married,
It's
um,
a divorce.
I feel like just the preparation wasn't there. And because of that, it ended in divorce.
Now, what advice would you have to someone that might be going through divorce right now, or dealing with, like you said, that heavy weight, or the waiting after divorce on getting into another relationship?
Okay, so this is the advice that I would have. One of the things that God had me to go. It's just a whole process, right? If you're going through a divorce, or if you have gone through divorce, one, you're gonna go through the grief process. There, if you're here, just go Google it, look up the grief process and the 5 steps, and it can come in all types of different orders. It does not have to be in the order that they put it in, okay? And when you're going through it, and as you're going through it, you'll understand what I'm saying. Um, and also, you know, what I didn't do is have a community. I didn't have anyone around me when I was going through my divorce to talk to at all, because I felt like, because none of my friends or anyone around me had gone through what I had gone through. So I didn't feel comfortable opening up to them about what I was going through. So I think it's really important to have a community. You know, don't do it alone. I did it the hard way, and I didn't do it alone. I did it with God, and I think that's important too. And a lot. That's just who I am. A lot of the times when I'm going through hard things, I just want to be with God. I don't want to talk. I don't want to hear a lot of noise, and I don't want to do a lot of talking. Okay. And so, but that, those are some things, just some practical things that I would encourage someone that is going through divorce to do. Definitely seek out professional help. It's okay. Nobody needs to know your business. It's okay. Um, but when you're going through a divorce, and then you're also expected to continue on with your daily life, if you're a mother, you're still going to be a mother while you're going through a divorce. If you are working if you're working, period, you're still going to, they're going to, your job is going to expect you to do your job. They don't care about your divorce. They don't care about what you're going through. And so just having that, that extra help, and that extra encouragement and support really, really, really does help with just the healing process. And just remember, like, give yourself grace. Like, be gracious to yourself. It's not it does not happen overnight. It is a process. It is a journey. So enjoy your journey. Okay.
Absolutely. Now, as we go through these processes of growth, shifting, life lessons, What do you feel that you was your most challenging thing that you learned about yourself, and what do you feel that you overcame through this situation?
Okay, so I think some of the most challenging things, that I have learned about myself, through the process of divorce, through the process of dating, is, just how God has, alerted me and shown me some of the patterns and some of the triggers because of the things that have happened in my past, maybe in my childhood, and that's some of the things that I would work on with my clients as well, and if, for example, I last year I was having a procedure done, and I was at the dentist. I was having a procedure done, and just all of a sudden, this memory came to me while I'm having this procedure done, and I'm almost in tears. This, and I recognize it. Right? Okay, we have to recognize our triggers. I recognized it. I recognized that I was in a place of distress because I don't like the dentist. I never really have. I had a really bad experience when I was a kid. And so, identifying how you feel and why you feel that way is really important, especially, for my journalers out there. It's really important that you just recognize that. Like when you wake up, and when I wake up in the morning, when I'm giving thanks, I'm also paying attention to how I feel, because there could be something trying to come against me. And if I can feel that, then I'm gonna pray in the spirit, right? Okay, so we have to be really, really, just aware of our bodies, aware of our surroundings, and just allow God to speak to you, to lead God and direct you in the ways that He would have you to go. You can't go wrong in that way, right? If we just trust and depend on God, if we just trust them, a lot of the things that we worry about, a lot of the things that we deal with, it would be eliminated.
That is so true. Like a lot of times, we wake up and we feel some sort of way. And instead of communicating, we either have an attitude or, things are off. And, learning, our triggers, communicating about them and learning, what we feel and how to express it is a
Yes.
big thing.
It's important. It's really important, especially, you know, moving into a relationship, whether you're married or you're dating, that it's really important that you can be mature and you can you're able to express yourself in a way that others can understand you, and you're understand how that's really, really important. And so, God is just good. He's I love God waking up. Everything that I've gone through, everything that you guys have gone through, everything that we all have gone through, whether it's been good or bad, happy or sad, let me tell you something. God has used it, and He's used it, and He's turned it around for your good. Because everything that I've gone through, everything that has made me cry, every bottled tear that God has of mine, He's taken those things and He's recycled them. And He's really used them for my good. And He's allowed me to be able to, He's allowed me and He's put me in a position to be able to, to speak into others and to uplift and to encourage others. And I couldn't ask for anything more.
Absolutely. So, can you tell us your why on why? Because you have many hats, so we can't decipher each section, but the roundabout, the why you do what you do, speaking into people, pouring into them, and doing your purpose.
So my why really comes down to God. Just everything that I do, I will do unto Him. Everything that I do unto Him. Um, I mean, because if it had not been for Him, if it wasn't for Him, why would we do it? Why would I do it? You know? And so that, God is my why. He's my why. I'm not the only one struggling out here every day. I think sometimes we forget, because we live with ourselves and we looking at ourselves in the mirror, right? You're not the only one that's going through something. You're not the only one that's struggling. You're not the only one that is trying to walk a straight line and, stay on the tightrope. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. And so I have to remind myself of that I'm not the only one. There are others that are just like me. I'm just a person. I have to remind my children of that all the time, you know? And I think that's important. Even the ones that we see on TV every day,
Yeah.
they're just people. They're just people and they have struggles just like we all do.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we have to remind people that, because some people look for perfection and there's not a perfect person.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to make a mistake. We're human.
Yep. Yep.
So,
I used to be one of those people. Like everything I can't it got to be perfect before I
right.
start this, before I start that, you know. And when you listen, when you get in cahoots with God and y'all start, you like, "Okay, God, what you got for me?" He'll start telling you to do stuff and you feel like you are not ready. You
Mm-hmm.
feel like you are not prepared and you feel like it's real ghetto right now, like I remember in 2017 when I was going through my divorce, when God told me to start doing this, going live and interviewing people in 2017, I was going through my divorce. And I said, God, people are going to think I'm crazy. And this is what you want me to do. I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
even signed the papers yet. Like it wasn't even finalized yet. Yeah, that's what he wanted me to do. Then he told me what to name it. I said, "Oh my God!" My ex husband had an album at the time called "A Vintage Love Supreme." God told me to call my show "A Vintage Love." I said, I said, these people are gonna think I'm nuts.
Right.
Oh gosh. And I would be lying if I said that there was never a time in my life that I was kicking and screaming. Okay. Come on.
Which a lot of us do. We're
Yes.
because we be like, you ain't serious. You don't want me to do that.
No.
Or we'll fight to the death at first, like, nah.
Yes. Yes. But when it's God, he lines everything up for you. Just like I
Right.
was saying earlier, he line every person. Like I was talking to people and asking people in people's inbox that I had never even talked to before like that. And they were saying yes. I was interviewing them. I was doing all types of stuff. But you also know when you're doing God's work, the enemy will try to do whatever he can to mess it up. Because
Absolutely.
somebody reported my page. This was my old page. This is one of my
Seriously?
old pages. Yes, somebody reported my page and I got shut down. You can send recovery codes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I was sending recovery codes to people. They weren't accepting them. I lost everything. And that's where I put all of my son's baby pictures at. So I lost all of that. But, you know, the enemy didn't stop nothing. Cause see that back then that was just a little piece of my obedience. And what it's grown into is me having a show off the cuff radio on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. So I say that to say this, that you can look over your life and see the fruit of whatever it is. You can see the fruit of it. Okay? Whether that be good fruit or whether that be bad fruit, you know? And I think that's just a little tip and a little piece to help your discernment. Cause I don't know about y'all, but I pray that God increase my discernment. Okay.
Listen. Amen. Hey, girl, I'm right there with you.
Yes.
So tell us, what is up for 2026 for you, ma'am?
Woo!
Because
Oh my
it's only
goodness.
February, so we got a
Oh,
lot going on.
it's really a lot. It is a lot. Um, sometimes, like, even thinking about it, I can barely fathom. Just like I said, I mean, just in this top part of the year, I'm expecting 5 releases of 5 book projects that I have coming out. I am also going to be launching a date night clothing line, and
Nice.
that's coming out for the spring, which we kind of did like a little soft launch last year, just kind of, do a little film. We're going to do a fashion show, and that still could happen, but we just want to get it out. So we're launching this spring. Um, it's so much more books, more interviews, more speaking engagements. I'll be traveling out of the country for an opportunity to study abroad, studying the Holocaust for a few weeks, and then I'm going to try to find some time to backpack through Europe.
Nice.
um there's so much. It's so much. There's so much. And, and I don't really like, I want to leave some room. I want to leave some room for God to like fill those spaces, right? Because I can tell you all of these things that I got going on. Um, but at the end of the day, God orders my steps. And so I'm open.
Absolutely. Is there anything you want to share with the people that you would leave a message for them for the weekend or for the rest of the month?
Yes, I do. I do. So, as we all know, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And as a D4C of 8 years and, single mother, a single woman, I just want to let you know that you are loved. You are loved. You are worthy. You are worth it. You're not asking for too much. You deserve everything that God has promised for you. And just know that if you are in a place of waiting, that, you know, God, He just needed a little bit more time. And in your place of waiting, there's also something for you to learn. There is a lesson that God is trying to teach you. Um, And sometimes he may just be trying to teach you patience. And that's what I've gone through. I've gone through, just God teaching me patience and, showing me that pacing yourself and a slow love and a slow burn, not a slow love, because love is love, but just a slow burn, moving slow, not everything having to be everything and having to know, where every I and where every T is, before you get to the word, right? Okay. Um, I just want to encourage you. Just know that your time of celebrating your person is coming. And so, even if you're celebrating right now or tomorrow by yourself, just know that the ultimate sacrifice was God sending his son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for our sins. Okay. So, just know that Jesus loves you. That's all I got.
She said, "That's all I got." Can you tell the people how to connect with you, your podcast, how to book you for speaking engagements, how to work with you, how to get you as a coach?
Yes. For booking and inquiries, you can hit me up at dating after divorce coach at gmail.com. You can also connect with me on IG at dating.after.divorce.coach. And that's on IG. You can also connect with me on Facebook at Dating After Divorce Coach. And whatever it is that you need, listen, let me know. And if I cannot help you, we'll find somebody who can help you and give you what you need. Listen, I call myself the resource queen. So if I ain't got it, we're going to find somebody who does.
Tell them, girl, because listen, we got connections. We'll figure it
That's
out.
right.
Thank you as always for dropping in. You know, our doors are always open.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And real quick, before I forget, tune in every Thursday, 9 a.m. WDRB Media, Off the Cuff Radio with your girl, Phylicia Renaye.
And make sure y'all check it out because I'm telling you, I was on there. So y'all better go tap in. Stop playing.
Yes. And we
Stop
got to have
playing.
you back. It's two
Anytime.
years. It's been two
Anytime.
years.
Listen, you know
Yes.
it's always something going on. So anytime.
Okay.
All right, guys. I
Hold
want
you
to
to
thank
it.
you. Absolutely. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. This has been your girl, Dr. Sheena Gadon, better known as the lady behind the mask. You can find me on Facebook as Dr. Sheena Gadon. You can find me on Instagram as Lady Behind the Mask 22. You can find me at my website at sgadine, SGOURDINE16 As always, it's a pleasure having y'all here. It's a pleasure always educating, motivating, and inspiring. I thank you, and we will catch y'all next time.